Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago Fire, Med, and PD are about to head into reruns again this March. Brace yourself, one Chicago fans, it seems yet another is coming our way, and it's coming incredibly soon. Fans will be getting new episodes of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD on March 6. However, after the March 5 episodes, the One Chicago shows will be taking yet another break in their schedule. As confirmed via NBC's primetime schedule, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD are going on another break, with no new episodes planned for the shows on Wednesday, March 12. That's right, after 3 weeks of new episodes, NBC is putting the shows back into rerun mode for what will be at least a 1-week break in the schedule. We say this as it remains unclear just how long this latest break is going to run, though we have a feeling this could turn into a multi-week break. NBC has not yet released the full schedule and has only released its schedule through the week of March 10, but looking back on past years, it has become a common practice for the One Chicago shows to take a 2-week break sometime in month. Many times this 2-week break comes in the middle of the month, which might very well be the case this season, given we know Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD won't be airing new episodes on March 12. With that in mind, it is entirely possible we could see the shows in reruns for March 19 as well before returning with new episodes on March 26. Given how intense the promos for this week's episodes each were, we're honestly not shocked that a small break could be coming. Chicago Med teased that Ripley's life could be in danger when he puts his life on the line to help treat a patient trapped in a well, while Chicago Fire's promo teased that death could be coming perhaps to a main character, which is sure to have some major repercussions for the men and women of 51. Finally, we had the promise of Deputy Chief Reed returning to cause trouble for Voight and the intelligence unit, which seems to suggest we're finally about to find out just how big of a threat Reed is. It's going to be a night of intense episodes, and we have to wonder what cliffhangers the episodes could end on leading into this latest break for the One Chicago shows. Let's just hope that they don't end with too many cliffhangers if this does end up being a multi-week break. Though it seems NBC will help pass the time with some great episodes while the shows take this latest break. In lieu of new episodes on March 12, NBC has confirmed that it will air an encore presentation of the One Chicago in the Trenches crossover, which means that the schedule for the One Chicago shows will look a little different again that night, with Chicago Fire opening the night instead of Chicago Med. The crossover was an amazing 3-hour event, and it will make a perfect rewatch for fans hoping to enjoy their weekly One Chicago fix that Wednesday night when the shows take the week off. The bitter March wind whips through the streets of Chicago, rattling the windows of Firehouse 51, the halls of Gaffney Chicago Medical Center, and the squad room of District 21. But inside, something feels different. There are no new calls, no fresh emergencies, no unexpected plot twists. Instead, there's a sense of déjà vu. Because this March, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD are about to enter that unavoidable territory, the land of reruns. For the fans, it's both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it's a chance to relive the most iconic moments, to rewatch every daring rescue, every dramatic surgery, and every high-stakes investigation. On the other hand, they already know what's going to happen. The cliffhangers that once left them breathless now feel like old friends they can predict with eerie accuracy. But what about the characters? Do they know what's happening? Do they feel it? Inside Firehouse 51, Kelly Severide leans against the rig, arms crossed, an uneasy look on his face. He's been through hell and back, trapped in burning buildings, caught in explosive situations, forced to make life-or-death decisions, but something is off. "I feel like I've done this before," he mutters, staring at his turnout gear like it holds some secret. Stella Kidd, never one to let her husband's brooding go unchecked, gives him a playful nudge. "Well, you have done this before, babe." 100 times. It's called being a firefighter. "No," Severide says, shaking his head. "It's different. It's like I already know what's about to happen." That's when Ritter, scrolling on his phone, lets out a groan. We're going into reruns. March means repeats. Kidd narrows her eyes. "So you're saying we're about to relive the same emergencies, The same arguments, the same drama. Yep, Ritter confirms, we're stuck in a loop. Severide sighs, great, that means I'm about to disappear for a few episodes without explanation again. Crows frowns, and I'm gonna have to go through that Otis flashback scene again, aren't I? Every single time, buddy, Mouch says sympathetically. And I'll probably end up in another dangerous situation where everyone thinks I'm gonna die, but I miraculously survive. Bowden walks in, overhearing the conversation. I don't want to hear a single complaint. You know how many times I've had to give the same inspirational speech about this firehouse being a family. And I'm gonna do it again, with conviction. The room groans, but they know there's nothing they can do. Firehouse 51 is officially on autopilot for March, destined to relive their most dramatic moments like a firefighter's version of Groundhog Day. Gaffney Chicago Medical Center, paging Dr. Deja Vu over at Chicago Med, Dr. Will Halstead rubs his temples, feeling an all-too-familiar frustration settle in. Let me guess, he mutters, I'm about to make a morally questionable decision that gets me in trouble with Goodwin. You got it, Maggie grins, handing him a chart. And I'll be here to say, Will, you know better like I always do. Will sighs. I do know better, and yet I keep making the same choices. I think I have a problem. Dr. Marcel chuckles. Welcome to rerun season. Buckle up. You're about to break some rules, get called reckless, but ultimately save someone's life. It's your whole brand. Meanwhile, Dr. Charles sits in his office, writing down notes in a file labeled Existential Crisis. Fascinating, he muses. If we are aware that we are repeating our past actions, does that mean we have free will? Or are we simply trapped in a script, bound to make the same choices no matter what? Across the hospital, Dr. Archer looks at Hannah Asher and sighs. Guess I'm going to be judgmental about your past again. Yep, Hannah replies, but don't worry, I'll give you a speech that makes you rethink your perspective by the end of the episode. And so the hospital carries on, the doctors and nurses preparing for emergencies they've already faced, patients they've already saved or lost, and dilemmas that no longer feel quite as urgent, because they already know the outcome. Chicago PD. Another case, same outcome. At District 21, Sergeant Hank Voigt stares out the window, his jaw clenched. He knows something isn't right. Tell me something, he says, turning to Jay Halstead. How many times have we had this conversation before? About 100, Halstead replies without hesitation. Every time we hit rerun season, you get all philosophical. Voigt huffs, because it's the same damn thing every time. I bend the rules, someone tells me I'm too extreme. I justify it with this is Chicago, and we move on. Atwater sighs. I get it. I keep having the same argument about policing in our community, every single time. Burgess nods, and I keep getting put in life-threatening situations, but somehow I survive. Ruzek leans back in his chair. Hey, at least you survive. I've been deep undercover so many times, I don't even remember who I'm supposed to be anymore. Does anyone ever win in rerun season? Torres asks, looking around. No, Voigt says grimly. We just do the same thing over and over, waiting for new episodes to set us free. Silence falls over the precinct as the weight of their fate settles in. Then Trudy Platt walks in, holding a coffee. Oh, stop moping, she says. It's rerun season, not the end of the world. Now get out there and solve those cases like the predictable but entertaining cops you are. And with that, the unit gears up, ready to chase criminals they've already caught, make decisions they've already debated, and relive heartbreaks that never get any easier. The fans, watching it all over again. As One Chicago heads into reruns, fans brace themselves for what's to come. They'll rewatch old storylines with fresh eyes, pick up on details they missed the first time, and maybe, just maybe, appreciate the nostalgia of it all. Because even though it's the same emergencies, the same surgeries, and the same investigations, it's still Chicago Fire, it's still Chicago Med, it's still Chicago PD. And there's always something comforting about seeing their favorite characters, even if they know exactly what's coming next. And soon enough the rerun cycle will end, the scripts will be fresh, and Chicago's bravest, boldest, and best will be back in action. Until then, time to relive the drama all over again.